Man, so I was worried when I heard this movie was coming out. I mean, the sequel to The Shining, it's been 40 years. Plus there's some classics. Whenever they do sequels, it doesn't turn out well. Nightmare on Elm Street, look at those freaking sequels. Jaws, look at those freaking sequels. James Cameron was smart. He never did a freaking sequel to Titanic. That worked out. So I was like, this is bound to suck. It didn't. This was good. So guys, here's my spoiler-free review of Dr. Sleep, the sequel to The Shining. It just sounds weird even saying that. And if you haven't seen The Shining, really? Please watch The Shining first. If you haven't seen it in a while, you want to rewatch it again before you see this movie. And I'm keeping this really vague. I need to do a spoiler review next for this. I mean, there's a lot to say. Now, I will say my favorite part of the original Shining was the hotel and the atmosphere. So to do a Shining follow-up without the hotel it just felt like I was worried it was gonna suck. I mean, the first movie was called The Shining. It really should have been called Haunted Hotel, with a kid that happened to be in there that had The Shining. This movie is actually about The Shining and has a little bit of hotel in it. And it was interesting, way more interesting than I thought it would be. This is a 2-hour and 30-minute movie. Dude, I was engaged the entire time. The entire time. Like, don't miss the beginning of this. Even that's important. And let's start with the actors, man. Ewan McGregor is great as Danny all grown up. I mean, Danny isn't great. He's all like PTSD messed up. But what do you expect? Dad trying to chop him and mom up with an axe? Your life wouldn't be My Little Pony after that shit. You know who is My Little Pony cute? Kyliegh, whatever, the girl that plays Abra. 13 years old, she's got a bright acting future ahead of her because she's good in this. And I love Danny and Abra's relationship in this. He's like kind of a mentor type. You totally buy it and care about these two. And they have a really good bond. Oh, and there's this cult that's after them for a reason I will not get into, but it's pretty cool. The cult leader, her name is Rose the Hat. She steals every scene in this freaking movie that she's in. She's awesome. Oh, and what's his name? He's in this too. He's great in everything he's in, but I always remember him from Training Day. Mr. Oh, I always get love from the homies. He didn't get his shit pushed in Dr. Sleep, but still, he was great in this. Really, all the actors were, man. And a big message here is that you can't get away from your past. You gotta face it. And this movie really does revisit a lot of the past. When they do, they go with the choice of recasting instead of doing like the CGI anti-aging. And the recasted actors did a really good job respecting the original performances without like just doing impersonations. And it really works perfectly for almost the entire film. Without going into detail, because this is a spoiler-free review, the only real flaw in this movie that kind of took me out was when revisiting now very iconic territory. I think that CGI de-aging would have probably been a better choice. Small moments, but it is third act stuff, and you never want to feel like you're taken out of a movie in the third act. Other than that, this movie was freaking awesome. I wouldn't say it's as good as The Shining, but it's a worthy sequel to a freaking masterpiece. And that's saying something. I wouldn't call it scary, but it's really trippy and has some really cool visuals. It expands on the mythos of The Shining in like a really interesting way. Speaking of magical powers, the real MVP here is the freaking director, dude. Mike Flanagan, he's done a bunch of great stuff. He worked on Haunting a Hill House, a bunch of horror movies. Watch Hush, and you're welcome. Yeah, he's definitely shining here because he made a movie that's a sequel to both Stephen King and Stanley Kubrick's work. A movie that really kind of reconciles the differences between the two. He made both their worlds kind of exist together. And man, with what it accomplishes, I really want to just go 4.5 with this. It's like right there. You know, screw it. It's some magical freaking shit. And 4.5 might be a bit of a generous rating, but I'm nostalgic and you know what? It's my freaking channel. Besides, it makes sense. Shining, magical freaking shit. Yeah. Guys, I hope you enjoyed my review. Please like, subscribe, do all the stuff that I have. And yeah, thanks for watching.